I think the annoyance model of advertising is dead. Um, as soon as every time I go I go in and I turn on the radio, all of a sudden there's like these commercials that come on and I can't stand it. They're annoying commercials that don't match my interests and they're usually really blaring and they just do not make any sense for me as somebody that's going to be making a purchase decision. Now, can those annoying things work? I think so. I mean, I remember the annoying commercials. I remember the organizations, the companies that actually have them. But I think that there is a better model that we're turning to. And that is more of using things like building community online, digital aspects of things where people understand that they find it and they are part of a larger community that people want to participate in. And they're willing to participate because they like it. It's a different model, right? Like one of them is based on a very small captive audience, where that's the only options that you actually have. But when you look at a digital world, there is 8 billion people in this world, and they can listen to whatever they actually want and do whatever they want. And so to find that community online is a really important part of what you're going to do. And as part of it, you have to make them happy. It has to be something that people actually really enjoy to be part of, right? Otherwise, you're going to switch to something else. And so that's where, at least from my perspective, I think, with the Reciprocity Project, I've really learned this, and it's always been part of it. I understand, I understood for a long time, but I understand it a lot more, is that you really, first of all, have to speak your truth, right? Like you want to do your particular thing and be as authentic and interesting as possible. But, on the other side is recognize that there's that it's going to take some time to build that particular community, and you have to always be thinking about the other people on the other side, right? So I think that there is this fine line. It's not necessarily anymore where, this captive audience kind of idea where it's all about sale and annoying somebody so much that they actually want to buy something, that it's more of, let's figure out how to work together, right? Whatever that might be. And I understand that is willy-nilly. I understand that. But trying to figure out how to work together so that you can accomplish something that's a little bit bigger and more inclusive, and broader than sort of annoying the crap out of everybody. Now, in terms of instant sales, I really do think the annoying the crap out of people actually does work. But I think, the idea of building a long-term community, where people want to participate and they kind of, they just like what you're doing is a different way of doing it. And you often have to go with figuring out other ways to serve your community well, rather than going on the direct head-to-head of making a particular sale. Who am I to actually talk about this, right? So I'm building a Reciprocity Project. I don't make that many sales on the platform, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, that this is the reality that we're part of, or that I'm part of. And then it's up to me to better serve other people, like figure out how can I make them better off and work towards that. So I know that the platform actually does far better than what most things have on the market. But at the same time, it's hard to sort of convince people of that. And I'm not in a bout of convincing. I'm more of Let's figure out a way to build community so that other people feel good about themselves, uh, and then jointly problem solve together so that you solve something that's a little bit bigger, right? And you are just more of, rather than a sort of a force down the throat where you're annoying somebody to death, you're sort of like an orchestrator where everybody kind of has a say in the particular community, and then you just a central orchestrator of that particular community. This is quite a bit different. It takes a lot of nuance and it takes a long, long time to build something like that. And of course, there's a lot of struggling with it. There's a lot of try to figure out how stuff works, but that's okay. I think like that is often the struggle that makes really good, interesting things is figuring out, okay, what's resonating with people, what are better serving them, then figuring out like what is the way that I can annoy them so they could go buy something. And I think that is why a lot of the online models are working, is because that there is this sort of struggle that goes on where people are sort of finding things that resonate with a number of different people. If you look at broadly at the number of digital platforms that exist and the ones that have resonated, did really well, is that they are resonating, right? Like people understand that there is a particular thing and it solves it. And it turns out that it's a bigger thing, a bigger unmet need than a lot of people recognize. And I think that that is universal with that. So if you're going to participate in this whole digital revolution, just know it's going to take an awful lot of struggling and it's not going to be easy. And then it's just step by step of trying to find things that resonate, that people understand and they know and they actually like, rather than forcing sales down somebody's throat. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.